Thank you for checking out Tea and a Buddy on YouTube. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hello and welcome to the Tea and a Buddy podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
Today we're going to be talking about growing up in each other's countries.
Yes.
So for me it would be growing up in the UK. And for Erica it would be growing up in the USA.
Yeah, specifically Texas.
Texas, yeah.
Because I don't know how similar growing up in Texas is to growing up anywhere else.
Yes. I mean, because it's a big country, you see.
Yeah.
In the UK it's sort of similar.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Even though there's different accents everywhere, it's a small island.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of common thing,s you know. Mm. There's a lot of shared stuff.
Yeah.
You know. Which I just remembered something about my school days, you know, and I'll have to put it on the list.
So we've got these little lists that we've compiled.
The little lists
of things that we found on various sites. I mean, we usually try to give you guys the specific sites that we looked at, but we sort of used several different sites to compile our lists and then sort of made up our own things. Mm. So, I mean, just Google growing up in Texas or growing up in Britain and you'll find the things that we mentioned.
Yeah.
So I guess...
There's a lot of that stuff on here. You know you're British when,
yeah.
You know you're American, or you know you're from Texas when... Mm-hmm. So and so, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
So I just kind of picked out some of the points that I can specifically relate to. There's a lot of things on there that are not really specific to childhood. I think they're just, if you're a Texan, then, you know, you'll know what this means or whatever. Yeah. But this is sort of like, we're just going to reminisce about growing up being a kid in, you know, Texas and Britain. So, and some of these points that I compiled, well, when we get to them, you'll see. Some of them I'm going to disagree with, and you'll see why. So, the first one on the list, and these are in no particular order. These are just like, you know.
They're just a list.
Yeah.
That you've compiled.
The first one is, there was a piñata at most of the birthday parties you went to. And that is probably pretty accurate. Yeah.
A Texas thing?
I don't know that it's a Texas thing. It's it's a Mexican thing. But I guess it's pretty...
Every kid's party I went to, no.
No? You never had a piñata?
No. I understand it's more a common occurrence now. But back in the early 90s,
So the first
one knew.
So the first piñata you ever... Oh, no, you didn't get to hit it. Our niece and nephew made one from scratch, I think last year.
I didn't get to hit it.
Yeah, we didn't hit it, did we?
I don't remember.
The one that they made that was like, it looked like Easter egg one?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
They're really easy to make, and I remember my grandma made me one when I was like little. It was a swan one, but yeah, we would have them at just... You can, and this says birthday parties, but you can have them at any kind of party, really.
They're like a paper mache type thing. Shape.
Yes.
Papier-mâché, or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Paper mache, that was the big thing everyone said. The kids used to love saying that when I was a kid. Paper mache.
Yeah, so you make a shape out of paper mache, and then you cover it with tissue paper, fringed, colorful tissue paper. You leave a hole to stuff with candy, and then you seal the hole up, and then you string the shape up, whatever it is,
to a tree or whatever,
to wherever you have room for, and then the kids just
beat it to death with their own shoes.
You blindfold the kids, you spin them around, and then they get like 3 swings, and then it's the next kid's turn.
Yeah, I mean it's a fun party game, but I never the parties, as I said, as the parties I went to, they never had that. You know?
Yeah, ultimately you're just waiting for somebody to break it, and so that all the candy goes flying everywhere and you get the candy. So yeah, that's but like I said, it's a thing you find in Mexico, but because Texas used to be part of Mexico and because we're so close to Mexico, obviously a lot of the Tex-Mex thing, like, you know,
Tex-Mex culture.
It's a very Tex-Mex culture.
Yeah.
And it's a popular thing here. Number 2 on this list is that you spent your summers at Astro World, Fiesta Texas, Six Flags Over Texas, or Schlitterbahn.
Schlitterbahn.
Which is true. If you have the money, all of those are theme parks, obviously, so they cost quite a bit to get into. If you didn't spend your summers there, then you wanted to.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the ultimate American place that I always wanted to go as a kid, and did eventually, is Disneyland, obviously. I don't know if that's, like, specifically American anymore, though, because they have Disneyland parks everywhere, and Disney's so world-known that I think maybe that's just a place that kids everywhere want to go.
Yes, yeah.
It's not just America. Yeah. Yeah, so I would also throw in, like, just any kind of water parks or any kind of in Texas. So Six Flags Over Texas is the biggest one, and it's like very like Warner Brothers themed, so there's a lot of Looney Tunes characters and anything that's like Warner Brothers, whereas Disneyland obviously are Disney characters. Number 3 is your summer wasn't complete until you had a scoop of Bluebell ice cream, which is a Texas ice cream. Yeah, which is a Texas brand of ice cream.
Currently under fire.
Oh, yeah. You actually just read me that article today, I think.
They had a listeria outbreak a couple of years ago, and apparently they
knew about it.
They were convicted of trying to cover it all up and endangering the health of Texas people, and you know, so there might be a bit of blowback to this, you know.
So obviously this is terrible. We don't really eat it that much as adults because it's freaking expensive.
Might not be expensive anymore.
Oh my god, yeah. And I don't know where all they ship this ice cream to. I don't know if it's just in Texas, but I know it's made in Texas. And it's a really popular ice cream in Texas. And of course, Texas summers particularly are super hot, so you want ice cream. And I also added on the list...
Chocolate melts in 10 seconds over here.
I also added... What? Where'd you get that from?
I just made that up. I just made that factoid up.
Oh my god.
Well, it does. You know, you buy it in the store, you go out, and it's hot, it'll just melt in your hand.
Yeah.
Straight there. It's not fun. For chocolate lovers, this is not the place to come.
I added something that I can remember as a kid, and that is snow cones. Snow cones. Particularly from the ballpark. Like, if you had a little brother or a cousin or somebody that was playing baseball, like Little League Baseball during the summer, you definitely, like, you really wanted to go to the concession stand and buy a snow cone because it's so hot. And I don't know if you guys know what snow cones are in the rest of the country. I have no idea, really, if they do snow cones elsewhere.
They're just kind of like, they're just crushed ice with syrup on them, aren't they? I mean, it's the same as shaved
Super
ice.
Healthy. Yeah, it's the same thing as shaved ice, super healthy, but oh so delicious. Yeah. Number 4 is that you have at least one photo your parents took of you dressed up Western style. And unfortunately, there's a picture that...
Like Western style, like Wild West style?
No. Like, because that's horrible, just country and Western style, whatever.
Oh, whatever like with neckerchiefs and the hats and the check shirts, you mean?
Well, whatever it happens to look like in the decade that you took the picture. So, mine, I think I had, like, acid-washed jeans on.
Oh.
Even though I was like...
Cowboy boots.
It was my dad's idea. I'm going to blame this all on my dad.
I thought you meant like those old style photos.
No, unfortunately, no.
With the rootin' tootin', you know.
It's like just Western
wanted
style.
Dead or alive.
Just like with a cowboy type shirt and, you know, cowboy hat and boots and jeans. But I think my jeans were like acid washed because it was like... early 90s.
You look like you just come from Pizza Hut. Yeah. I think I've seen it. It's all like dark and red or something, and it just looks all...
I have my hair like in a French braid, and my bangs are all teased.
It looks like
because
one of those
that was
creepy
the style.
adverts from the 80s, you know?
Yes!
And they're freaking dark. And there's like a black and like quite a white light, and it's just kind of like that
except it
80s filter.
Except it wasn't the 80s. It was like...
Early
I don't
90s.
know what year. Yeah, early... Like,
still,
maybe
you know,
like 91.
And it looks like that font that they used.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that exists, and will never see the light of day. Number 5 on this list is you were always jealous that you never got to build a real snowman as a kid. This is not true, because I grew up, I was a little kid in the Texas Panhandle.
In the Pinehandle.
In the Pinehandle. And in the Panhandle, it snows. Like, they get a real winter
Yeah,
up
they
there.
do. Oh, they do, yeah.
You've experienced it, right?
I've experienced it. I almost froze to death up there. Almost froze half to death up there.
No, I mean, he's making fun, but seriously.
No, we did, honestly.
If
we were just out in that caravan, we would have probably frozen to death.
Yeah.
I think we would. People
in Austin, in Central Texas and South Texas, down by the coast, everything. People who have never traveled to North Texas or the Texas Panhandle do not realize that it gets cold and it snows in Texas. And
well, it does up there, yeah. I mean,
it snows quite a lot. Like, I can
down
remember
here, not so much,
Oh no. Yeah, no. I mean, people who live down here.
The last time it snowed here properly.
Yeah.
Even and that was just like a blanket dusting of it.
Mm-hmm.
Was 2011.
Yeah.
Because I've got pictures of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, used to it like...
But now, nothing.
Well, this is like climate change for you, because used to it would snow like every 2 years in Austin.
Yeah.
And enough that, it covered the ground and you could like see it, and the roads were icy and stuff like that. But yeah, it has not snowed in a long time. But in the Panhandle, yeah, I can remember it snowing like at least 2 feet fairly frequently, during the winter. And you could build a good, decent-sized snowman, and it was, like, really super freezing. We had those moon suits as a kid, those snow suits, and, like, moon boots. That's what it was. I used to call them moon boots, which are basically, like
the boots the astronauts
like rain boots,
wear,
like wellies only
yeah.
for snow. They're more insulated and everything. Yeah. Oh, I love my moon boots. But yeah, so it snows in Texas, contrary to what you believe, contrary to what you hear. Number 6 is you still have nightmares of sliding down a metal slide during the summer, and this is so true. My elementary school had this huge metal slide. I can remember when they installed it, because the school was kind of up on this hill, and there was a hill, and then down the hill was where the playground, like the jungle gym, and then like the tarmac where you could do like Foursquare and
hopscotch and all that.
Whatever, yeah. And so all down this hill, they built this really, really like would have been awesome slide, because the hill was quite big, and it went all the way down the hill, and they must have done it custom. Except it was metal. And it is Texas, so when it's not during the winter,
very hot.
It's super, super hot.
Very hot.
And you can't even slide down one of those metal slides in the winter. You just stick. You just stick the whole way.
And you fry.
Oh my God, yeah. You would get like 3rd-degree burns on the backs of your legs if you had shorts on. It was not good.
And then you'd have to go spray it in the splash pad.
Number 7 is your parents have pulled over and made you take a picture in a field of bluebonnets.
Yeah, that's just a Texas thing.
That's so true. Yeah, bluebonnets are a state flower. They're super beautiful. They only bloom like March and April, and then they're finished. But they grow wild here. They're like fields and fields of them, and it's definitely a thing to like stick your kids out in a field of bluebonnets and take a picture. every year. Like, just every single year.
Yeah.
Pictures of you just sitting in a field of bluebonnet.
Trying
to not get bitten by a rattlesnake, you know?
Because rattlesnakes are just everywhere.
Yeah.
In Texas. Everywhere. In the bluebonnets, there's hundreds of
Well, the bluebonnets grow tall, and snakes like to get down in where, you know, they're not going to be seen. And then they stick their little tail up and they go... Yeah. Number 8 is you would terrorize other children by putting June bugs down their shirts. No.
No, you put rattlesnakes down
June bugs are the absolute worst. And people, they do not only exist in June. They are freaking out all the time, and I hate them. They're little, hard, crunchy, disgusting bugs, and if they whack up against you, it just feels like a thump, and it's just like... They hit I thumped Dominic. They'll like hit the wall and make a little thunk sound, or like, you know, they'll fly into something and then fall onto the floor, and they're just crunchy, and if you accidentally step on one, it crunches, and they're just horrible. I hate them.
And you've got something called a stink bug here as well, haven't you? That you step on it, it stinks.
Oh, God. We've got so many bugs in Texas.
Yes, bugs,
in the summer,
insects.
in the spring.
Why do humans live here? This is where they all live. Because in Britain, right, we have a lot of insects, but they're quite cute. You know, we've got spiders.
They're cute.
Yes, they have little names.
But, yeah. So you'll know this one. This one goes along with it, but... You know, there's a joke like, oh, yeah, in the summers you wear bug spray instead of perfume. You wear bug spray as perfume when you go out in Texas. And it's Dominic has to do that.
Well, the mosquitoes get me, you see.
Yeah.
Those bloody mosquitoes.
And then bug zappers. I think it's, like, inhumane now, so I think people don't use them. I think people don't use bug zappers as much anymore, but when I was little, my grandma had bug zappers, like, all on her back porch because she liked to, like, hang out in the backyard in the evenings, you know? And it's just, like, in Texas in the summer, there's so many bugs, and that thing would just be zapping all the time, and it was just disgusting. I freaking hated those bug zappers.
You know, I never knew what a bug zapper was. And, you know, I'd seen them before.
I don't know if they still make them.
Well, in, like, fish and chip shops.
Oh.
And at the grocery store or the butchers.
They'd
have them. And they were always the same looking one. They were, I don't know if anybody remembers growing up with them. They were a blue ring light. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or they were like maybe 3 bars or something. Or maybe just a bar. And I remember just looking at it, I thought it was just like it's like a light for the food. I never ever saw one go bzz into them or anything like that until like I was like much older. Because I never thought to go, oh, what's that light they always have?
Yeah.
I always thought, oh, it's just a light they have. You know, it's just a cool light that's in a fish and chip shop in any food place that we go to. You know, they just have this food light. But, you know, one day I saw it go bzz like that, you know, and I was like, oh, it's going out. I didn't realise that a fly had gone into it. And then another fly came out, and it was because this was like in the summer and stuff, and it went bzz into it. I was like, oh, that's what it's for.
They're horrible. It's like, I don't like bugs, but no.
I was today years old when I figured out what those blue light was.
Oh, no. Yeah, they're horrible.
But no, it wasn't today. I mean, obviously, it was some time ago when I figured that out. But yeah, I never knew what they were for. Yeah, I just thought they were just like cool lights. You know? Rave lights, you know, for the food.
Number 9 on this list is just that you have manners if you grew up in Texas. This is true.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean,
yes,
obviously,
Thank you,
most people, not all, obviously.
Thank you, ma'am.
But yeah, we're definitely very big on manners in Texas. Like, you teach your kids, or you did when I was a kid anyway. What people teach their kids now, I don't know, but, you know.
You're always doffing your cap to people, aren't you?
As, you know, I seem to think somebody, like, kind of mocked me in Britain when I said ma'am or sir, you know, over there, because it's just like, oh, you know, just very like, oh, yes, ma'am, or... You know,
yeah, because we don't say yes, ma'am, you know?
Yeah.
It's more, yes, my lady. yes, my lord. No, it's, you know, I mean, we do have manners in Britain, but it's like, you know, we don't say yes, sir, you know, unless it's in like a very, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, no.
Yes, madam.
You say yes, sir. You say yes, ma'am, yes, sir, no, ma'am, no, sir, and please and thank you. if you grew up in Texas. You've also been to a rodeo.
Rodeo!
And this is very
I've never been to a rodeo.
But I have been to a rodeo.
Yeah.
They're not for me. I don't enjoy a rodeo.
No.
That's why you've never been to the rodeo. I don't like the rodeo. I can't get into, like, the calf roping and... No, it's terrible. You know, they swing it around, they tie up their legs, and then the poor little things just fall to the ground. I don't like that. I don't like it. Number 11 is you've ridden in the back of a pickup truck.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've ridden in the back of a pickup
truck. Well, nobody
truck.
agrees with it. It's super unsafe. You have ridden in the back of a pickup truck?
Yeah, it was like a tiny Toyota.
Oh, yeah? When was that?
I was like 7 or something. Someone had it wasn't like it's like the big pickup trucks over here. It was like just a truck with an open bed at the back.
I mean,
Me and a couple of other boys rode in it.
It was legal when I was a kid. It is not legal anymore, but yeah, I have done it. So those are my memories of growing up in Texas.
Growing up in Britain, I mean, we have a lot of commonalities. A lot of people will remember Victorian Day at school.
Oh, yeah.
That's something
you've mentioned that before. Yeah. Oh, no.
No. When we were, like, learning about history of Britain and whatever, like maybe the Industrial Revolution, it was always in primary school, too, and it's something I thought only our school did. Mm-hmm. I thought it was just some weird thing that, my primary school did, but it was like year 5, year 6, something like, okay, tomorrow's Victorian Day.
Yeah.
Find your best, like, old clothes and come in that, no uniforms. It was just, like, in your old clothes, because back in the Victorian days, they didn't have, like, schools with uniforms, which is another one of my points, is growing up with a uniform,
Oh, yeah.
That was... every school I went to had a uniform. It was no...
Where it's mostly just private schools that have that in America.
We had this actress come in who played our teacher.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name or anything, but she was dressed all Victorian, like a school mom. You know? And it was very strict. And you, stand up. Like that, stand up.
Yeah.
And so I had to stand up and stuff, and she goes, and I put and stand behind your chair, And so behind my chair, and you've got a case of leanitis, And because I put my hands on the chair, put it behind the chair, and it's like, because you're leaning on the chair or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And, she was really good, it was like almost like, she had the cane and everything, she'd whack it and stuff, Cause that's
You're going to say she'd whack you.
I thought she was at that time. It was really fun learning about, and then we made gruel.
Yeah.
Which was like what they ate, porridge from like oatmeal or whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember this kid who helped make it. He had to try it. Everybody was like crowded round watching the whole class,
Uh-huh.
And okay, try it, Lloyd. And he tried it, and he put it in his mouth. And he when you put something in your mouth and you don't know if you like it or not, you kind of go like that. He went like that. Everyone died laughing because everybody's like, "Oh, gruel's going to be disgusting. You try it."
Yeah.
Jelly and ice cream. Piñatas at parties.
Oh, yeah.
Jelly and ice cream is what we used to have at parties.
Yeah, that's still so weird to me.
Jelly and ice cream, the combination.
Jelly.
Jello, meaning jello.
Meaning jello.
Not
America.
jam.
Yeah, which is a weird combination. Like, who invented that?
I don't know. People who had sore throats.
What, so you serve the jello and then you just put like a dollop of ice cream on top of it, is it? Or it's like side by side?
Side by side.
Or you like mix it all together?
I mixed all mine all together.
So weird.
It was good. Everybody remembers jelly and ice cream in Britain. If you didn't have jelly and ice cream, you weren't...
It wasn't a party.
It wasn't a party. Yeah, it was not a party.
So it's like a staple of kids. So what, you have that instead of cake then usually?
No, I think we'd have some cake sometimes, but you'd have cake and then you'd have like jelly and ice cream too.
Oh, yeah.
I think, weird. Anyway, I can't remember now, but I clearly remember having jelly and ice cream.
Yeah.
I had like a jelly cake once when I was a kid. Now, that's triggered a memory. I remember, I think my mother had like a Jell-O mold, and she made like a train.
Yeah.
It was like an actual choo-choo train, and it was like all of jelly. It was supposed to be Thomas. It was for my birthday.
Yeah.
And, we'd have scoops of vanilla ice cream with it, and, you just cut it into bits, and, that was it. Yeah, I remember that. Cute. When I was a kid, I always used to go around the pubs with my dad. But people have vivid memories of when they entered a pub for the first time,
Yeah, yeah.
And, it's like, oh, yeah, going up, it's like, yeah, I'll have 2 pints of bitter, please, and you're like 16.
Yeah.
And the legal drinking age in Britain, well, it was 18 when I was a kid. 2 pints of lager, please, mate, trying to sound like 2 pints of lager, please, mate, and hoping they don't say, how old are you,
Yeah.
And sometimes, I think I got away with it at 16, but I'd been going to pubs with my dad, and I'd just be like, I'd know how to do it, to look casual, because, most teenagers are going to go, and they'd look like, yeah, you're obviously not old enough to be in here, and you're trying to get away with it, It's like, go up, John, and get 3 pints of lager.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, yeah, well, 3 pints of lager, yeah, me mate. Going to the beach and getting stung by jellyfish, that's another memory of mine living in Arran.
Yeah.
It was a field trip to the beach once, and we got in the thing, and I just remember, and it was like foamy sea.
Yeah.
Coming in, the tide was coming in, and I didn't see all these dead jellyfish.
Oh, no.
And I wandered right into the middle of them. And it was like that moment where you look around and you're like, oh, this isn't seaweed, it's dead jellyfish.
Oh, no.
And they're all around me. And then my legs were like burning up.
Oh,
I wanted to chop them off.
Oh, no.
They were that bad.
Did someone have to pee on you?
No. I don't think... No. Put a wet paper towel on it. That's what they used to say. Put a wet paper towel on it, it'll be fine. And bench it, like... that's another thing. If you're not British in your town, you find a bench, no one's sitting on it, but that's because it's too wet to sit on.
Oh, yeah. I've experienced that.
You've experienced that. It's like, oh, all the benches are all wet. Why are they all wet? And it's been sunny for 3 days. It's like, because we need to water our benches,
it's like you have to walk everywhere, so eventually you want to sit down, and there's nowhere dry to sit because it's always raining in Britain. Yeah, that would be so annoying as a kid. You're like going out to play and stuff, you want to have a little rest. And it's just like...
you say the slide is too hot.
Yeah.
It was always soaking wet when I was a kid.
You can't go down the slide.
No, and I remember, remember going to the playground. It's like, getting on the slide, and you get to the top of it, and because you didn't care if it was too wet climbing up on it, but you'd see the slide was all wet, and you think, oh, that's okay. But then at the bottom of the slide, there was a nice pool of water. Dirty water.
Oh, God.
For all the kids to slide into.
I was going to say, that would be super fun, like here, because, that water might be cool, It's like you're
but
hot,
no, it was freezing cold in Britain.
It's cold outside.
And it's like you've got your tracksuit bottoms on your poppers. Do you ever have those poppers?
Yeah.
And it's got yeah. Bleeding mental. Another weather-related issue was when an hour of sunlight, your parents would be like, let's get the barbecue out. Let's get the barbecue out and take advantage of this great weather. And it's only been sunny for like an hour. And it's a little bit warm. It's like, yeah, let's put the barbie. And of course you never, because you don't do it that often, you end up like cocking it up.
Yeah.
Just like,
or it's not clean, so you have to take up part of the time to clean it. And
some people didn't even bother. I don't remember if we ever cleaned ours. It was just one of those like red ones, you pulled it over. And
it'll burn off. It'll burn off, don't worry.
And we'd make steaks on it, but it would take forever because it was a charcoal one.
Yeah.
And
then it would start raining.
And then it would start raining, and it would be just like, oh, it's okay, it'll just pass.
And you mentioned before how Americans think that, school in Britain is like Harry Potter.
Hogwarts, yeah. Harry Potter, everybody's like, but what it's really like is the In-Betweeners. And it is. It's almost exactly like the In-Betweeners is almost documentarian of my life growing up in secondary school.
It's very scary.
My high school life. It is, and it's so funny because when my friend showed it to me, he says this is us.
Yeah.
They've nailed it, with this show, and it was a new show at the time, and I was just like, God, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All kids wanted to go to Alton Towers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like in America, they want to go to Six Flags or Disneyland.
Flags, yeah. There's Alton Towers, Thorpe Park, which was a episode of the In-Betweeners.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah. Drayton Manor. is another one. Alton Towers, Chessington World of Adventures, they're theme parks. Yeah.
No, but I mean, are they themed differently? Or like, if you go to one, then you've been to the others?
Sort of, yeah. Okay. I think so, yeah. I mean, I remember Oakwood was my one, because it was the closest one to where I lived in Wales, Oakwood theme park. And it was pretty good, you know. I liked it, you know.
Yeah.
Always a school trip would go there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was mostly all the time we would go to Oakwood, and my favourite was the water kind of slide. You know, you had to get in like a little dinghy and go down the slide, you know, with usually two
we need to do a podcast where we talk about school field trips.
Yeah. Alton Towers is like the biggest one, you know. They had like Nemesis, Rita and Oblivion, and Galactica roller coasters.
Oh, you know. Yeah.
Megaphobia was the big roller coaster in Oakwood.
It's so funny
and I don't mind roller coasters, but yeah, there was one called Bounce. Which was one that goes straight up in the air, just went boom. You know, and I went on that. That was pretty cool.
I'm not a big adrenaline junkie, so
I mean, I'm not really into Legoland as well. Have a lovely lamb lunch and then go to Legoland.
I don't agree. Go to Legoland. Bye.
If you're an Alan Partridge fan, you know what that's from. But yeah, those ones, and of course Blackpool.
It's funny to think that in Britain, and this is just probably silly of me to say, but to me, it's funny that as small as Britain is, they could cram that many theme parks in, you know, because it's like, we're looking at a list like here from the Independent.
And I'm sure every kid from my era went to Centre Parks or something. And Centre Parks is like, it's like a camp, it's just like a Butlins holiday camp. Butlins holiday camp, yeah, that's another one.
Yeah.
And who doesn't remember getting the Argos catalogue out every Christmas and highlighting everything you wanted and strategically leaving it on the counter for your parents to see, which was what I did.
Yeah.
You know, I'd highlight everything I wanted and the code and everything, and I'd just be like, got this Argos catalogue here. It's like, let's have a look.
Oh, look. Yeah, these things are highlighted already. Isn't that crazy?
They're highlighted, you know, for your convenience, you know, and so, you know, just like, I'm not buying you that. I'm not buying you that drum set. I'm not buying you that keyboard. It's like, oh, Mom, you know. Do you remember Twist and Squeeze?
Yeah.
Twist-its, I think they were called over here.
Squeeze-its.
Squeeze-its. Yeah. Twist and Squeeze. The plastic bottles. I had so many of them.
Oh my God, yeah.
They had a raspberry flavour, and I loved it. And I'd look like an alcoholic in my bedroom with them.
I used to always,
so many of them. You know?
I used to always want those for my lunchbox, and my mom was always just like, no, you know. Yeah, I remember. You would barely squeeze it, and they would just, like, shoot out the top. The little hole. Twist and squeeze, they were called in Britain, those.
Twist and squeeze, yeah.
Yeah.
They'd have, but the raspberry flavour was my favourite. And there was big time drinks. That was another thing in school, big time drinks. They were like these plastic cups with, like, a lid on.
Yeah.
And they were see-through, you know, they were like, but you'd always see them at like a school disco or in a school canteen, and you'd be able to jam the straw into them, just drink them like that, you know. And were they orange flavour, strawberry flavour, raspberry flavour, you know.
So were they like juice, or were they like that horrible, just like fruit punch, like
they were just... I think they were kind of like that, yeah. I mean, I vaguely remember drinking them.
It's like there's no actual juice in there whatsoever.
But, yeah. But yeah, they were all over the school.
Yeah.
And those like sherbet sticks.
Oh yeah.
You know, like pixie sticks. Or
right,
they were kind of like that, yeah. And Panda Pops as well.
I don't know what those are. I didn't know what big time drinks were either.
Were fizzy drink. They were like small little plastic bottles.
Okay.
And used to have like green cola flavour and banana flavour and stuff like that, I remember. and raspberry flavor or cherry flavor.
Banana flavored fizzy drink? That sounds absolutely disgusting. So good.
And green cola was my favorite too.
And what was it? Just flavored green?
It was cola flavored. It was just green colored cola. It was fun as a kid. It was the best thing. But they used to have this banana drink as well. Banana soda.
Yeah.
It was like...
It sounds horrendous.
Yeah, it was good. Don't knock it till you tried it. But yeah, and there was also, I remember you used to do it, you'd take the lid off and you used to pour a little bit in as if like, oh, this is my medicine, I'm taking a little shot of medicine. What? Because, it was green and in the green cola and stuff. And they had, it was, I don't think Panda Pops are doing it anymore.
That's funny.
Disappeared from view because they were very unhealthy for children.
So if you're British, let us know if you can remember Panda Pops or anything else that Dominic's mentioned. Jelly and ice cream at parties. Like,
jelly and ice cream at parties.
Was that just something that his people did, or
my
did you,
people,
or did you do it too?
My weird friends.
Yeah.
My weird friends and their birthday parties with jelly and ice cream.
And I don't know if we have any other Texans listening, but let me know, if you're not in Texas and if you can remember doing any of the things that I mentioned, like probably riding in the back of a pickup truck was not just something that happened in Texas growing up. But we are so over time. We're like, this is a long podcast.
It's a long apologize.
Podcast. Hopefully you've been entertained though. So yeah. If you would like to support us, the easiest way to do that is to leave us a review and rate us on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is that you're listening. Yes. Or just share us with your friends.
Yes, share us.
Other than that, thank you as always for listening. We super, super, super appreciate your support. And we will talk to you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.